He stepped into the quiet Arizona restaurant, expecting the usual clatter of dishes and chatter, but instead, a tense stillness hung in the air. The scent of grilled meat and fresh bread filled the space, yet something felt off. As he glanced around, his eyes locked on a small figure huddled in the corner, barely moving. The child's clothes were torn, and his face was pale, streaked with dirt. His tiny hands clutched a tattered blanket, attempting to shield himself from the chill. Instantly, a wave of concern and disbelief washed over him. The restaurant's patrons seemed to have noticed the boy, but no one moved. Whispers drifted through the room, questions unanswered, judgments unspoken. The child's wide, fearful eyes met his gaze, and in that instant, everything else disappeared. He could feel the fragility of the boy's life, the hunger that gnawed at him, and the loneliness that must have been unbearable. Without thinking, he felt a surge of protective instinct, a need to act before it was too late. Every second of hesitation seemed unbearable, every heartbeat filled with urgency. He approached slowly, careful not to startle the boy, his steps echoing softly against the wooden floor. The child flinched but did not run, as if he recognized that this stranger might be different. Kneeling down, he offered a gentle smile, speaking softly to calm the trembling child. "It's okay. You're safe now," he whispered. He could see the fears slowly give way to a tentative trust, the boy's hands relaxing slightly as he inched closer. The warmth of human kindness seemed foreign but welcome, a glimmer of hope in the middle of despair. Without hesitation, he scooped the boy into his arms, feeling the weight of his small body and the weakness that came from days of hunger. The child clung to him instinctively, seeking warmth and security. Around them, the world continued as if nothing had happened, the other diners distracted, yet this single moment carried profound significance. The connection was immediate, a silent understanding that transcended words. In that instant, he vowed to protect this child, to provide the care and safety he so desperately needed. No matter what lay ahead, he carried the boy toward the restaurant exit. Memories of hardship and survival flickered in his mind. He imagined the cold nights, the hunger, and the fear that the child must have endured. Each step outside into the crisp Arizona air brought him closer to a new responsibility, one he could not ignore. The snow-dusted streets and the faint light of the setting sun created a surreal backdrop for this encounter, as if the world itself was pausing to witness this small act of courage. Every breath he took carried determination and resolve. Finally, standing under the dim streetlights, he adjusted the child in his arms, feeling a sense of urgency mixed with hope. He knew this was only the beginning, a journey of care, warmth, and protection that could change a life forever. The boy's eyes, now less fearful, reflected a cautious trust, a fragile bond forming between them. In that quiet Arizona evening, amidst the cold and shadows, an unexpected act of kindness sparked the possibility of a new life, one where compassion triumphed over fear, and human connection became the anchor for hope and survival. 4 days had passed in the snowy Arizona mountains, and the cabin had become a haven of warmth and safety. Outside, the wind howled through the pine trees, carrying flakes of snow that blanketed the rugged landscape. Inside, he made sure the boy had hot meals, dry clothes, and comfort against the cold that had once seemed unbearable. Each day, their bond grew stronger, a quiet trust forming between them. The boy's laughter, once absent, now echoed softly through the cabin walls. It was a fragile peace, one built on kindness, patience, and the unspoken understanding that this sanctuary would protect him. The mornings were filled with the scent of coffee and freshly baked bread, and evenings passed by the flickering glow of the fireplace. He would read stories aloud, share small lessons about the world outside, and teach the boy survival skills for the harsh mountains. The child's eyes, once hollow and frightened, now sparkled with curiosity and life. Each moment spent together was a reminder that safety and love could heal wounds invisible to the eye. Yet, beneath the warmth and laughter, a part of him knew this fragile peace could not last forever. Something was approaching, something that might change everything. On the 4th day, just as the sun began to dip behind snow-capped peaks, a sudden, sharp knock shattered the quiet. It echoed through the wooden cabin like a call from fate itself. Startled, he froze, the boy clutching his sleeve in surprise. The sound was urgent, demanding attention, impossible to ignore. He exchanged a quick glance with the child, who seemed to sense both fear and hope in the air. Taking a deep breath, he approached the door cautiously, aware that whatever awaited them could alter the path their lives had taken. Every step felt heavy with anticipation, but he opened the door to find 3 women standing on the porch, bundled in worn blankets, faces streaked with snow and exhaustion. Their eyes were wide, glistening with unshed tears, and their expressions told stories of relentless search, fear, and desperate hope. For a moment, silence hung in the air, thick and charged, as if the world itself held its breath. The women's gazes fell on the boy, and he could see the mixture of relief and disbelief in their eyes. It was a reunion that carried generations of care, love, and the weight of a community waiting to be whole again. The women stepped forward slowly, voices trembling as they spoke, their words a blend of gratitude, concern, and disbelief. He gently guided the boy to them, letting the moment unfold naturally. Tears streamed freely as the women embraced him, whispering assurances and soft words of comfort. The child, once alone and lost, now stood at the center of a circle of love and protection. Every emotion was amplified by the snowy silence around them. The triumph of connection over despair, of hope over fear. It was a moment that would be etched in memory forever, a turning point in a life once teetering on the edge of loneliness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the mountains, he watched them depart, the boys safely cradled in their arms. A deep sense of fulfillment washed over him, knowing that his simple act of compassion had changed the course of a life. The cabin returned to silence, yet it no longer felt empty. It had been a place of transformation. The mountains whispered softly in the evening wind, carrying the story of courage, kindness, and human connection. In that fleeting, powerful moment, he realized that even in the coldest, harshest corners of the world, warmth and hope could thrive.